All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay. The headlines. Government convenes all-party meeting today ahead of winter session of Parliament beginning tomorrow. All arrangements in place for counting of votes for assembly elections in 5 states tomorrow. President Ram Nath Kovind to embark on a 4-day visit to Myanmar this evening. Extradition trial of fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya listed for judgment today in a London court. In cricket, Australia 186 for 6 against India at lunch on the final day of the Adelaide Test. And France to clash with China while England to face New Zealand for a place in the quarterfinals of Men's Hockey World Cup. The government has convened an all-party meeting in New Delhi today ahead of the winter session of Parliament beginning tomorrow. During the meeting, the government will seek cooperation from political parties for smooth functioning of both the houses during the session. We have a report.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has also called an all-party meet today to build consensus for smooth functioning of the upper house. Opposition parties will also hold a meeting to discuss their strategy to counter the government. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan will meet the leaders of political parties tomorrow to ensure smooth conduct of proceedings in the lower house. The nearly month-long winter session will be the last full-fledged session before the Lok Sabha elections next year. The session will have 20 sittings, during which 8 important bills will be tabled in the Rajya Sabha and 15 in the Lok Sabha. The session will end on the 8th of next month. With Divakar, this is Priyanka Arora, AIR News, Delhi.
The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring you a discussion tonight on issues before Parliament and Sansad ke Samaksh Mudde. The Issues Before Parliament program can be heard on Rajdhani channel from 9:30 p.m. Sansad ke Samaksh Mudde can be heard on the Indraprasth and FM Gold channels also from 9:30 p.m. All arrangements are in place for tomorrow's counting of votes for elections to Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana and Mizoram assemblies. In Chhattisgarh, counting centers have been set up in all the 27 district headquarters of the state. Our correspondent reports that elaborate security arrangements have also been made in Maoist-affected areas.
3-layer security arrangement is in place at the counting centers. More than 5,000 employees and 1,500 micro-observers have been deployed for the counting process. Counting will start at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and first, postal ballot will be counted. Then from 8:30 a.m., counting from EVMs will be held. Videography of counting and tabulation will be done, while transportation of the EVMs from a strong room to counting hall would be monitored through CCTV cameras. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
In Madhya Pradesh, the entire counting process will be videographed. Over 75% polling was recorded in the state on the 20th of last month. Our correspondent reports that the counting of votes will be done in 306 counting rooms. In Telangana, counting centers have been set up at 43 locations, most of which are at district headquarters. The EVMs are kept under 3-tier security. Tied vigil, CCTV cameras, surveillance has been maintained. 73.2% polling was recorded in Friday's polling. Meanwhile, predictions over the winning chances of various parties are making hot rounds. More from a correspondent.
The estimate predictions about political outcome of the Friday's polling in the first ever assembly elections of Telangana ruled the roost among the political circles based on various exit polls and surveys. Leaders of both the ruling TRS and opposition Congress-led People's Alliance are exuding confidence that they will form the next government with more than comfortable majority. State leaders of the BJP, which contested the election alone, are hoping to increase their strength from 5 to more and claiming that they will play a major role in the formation of the next government. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
In Mizoram, where polling was held on the 28th of last month, counting will be held in 40 counting halls, spreading 13 counting centers. To supervise the counting process, observers and micro-observers will be deployed in all counting centers.
Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Laltong Timak said all preparations are put in place for counting of votes polled in 1,179 polling stations. To supervise the counting process, counting observers and micro-observers will be deployed in all counting centers. Counting will be held in 40 counting halls spreading in 13 counting centers. Meanwhile, elaborate security arrangements have been made across states, particularly in and around the counting centers. Irene, AIR News, Aizawl.
In Rajasthan, voting was held on Friday in 199 of the total 200 constituencies. Election to Alwar district's Ramgarh seat was countermanded due to the death of a BSP candidate. Meanwhile, repolling at one polling station in Karanpur seat of Sri Ganganagar district is being held today. The Election Commission had repolling following complaints of irregularities during the polls. The News Services Division of All India Radio has made changes to its bulletins as part of its special coverage of counting of votes tomorrow. The 12 noon bulletin will be of 10 minutes instead of 5. It will be broadcast from 12 to 12:10 p.m. The Hindi bulletin will be aired from 12:10 to 12:20 p.m. The duration of the midday bulletin in English and the Dopahar Samachar in Hindi has also been extended by 15 minutes. Midday news will be broadcast from 2 to 2:30 p.m., while Dopahar Samachar will be aired from 2:30 to 3 p.m. The 6 p.m. bulletin in English and the 6:05 p.m. bulletin in Hindi will be extended by 5 minutes. These will now be broadcast from 6 to 6:10 p.m. in English and 6:10 to 6:20 p.m. in Hindi. Apart from this, AIR News has also planned special programs for the latest update on election results from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. A radio bridge program will also be broadcast on the day of counting from 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. by linking Aizawl, Raipur, Bhopal, Jaipur and Hyderabad stations.
Janadesh.
Results of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, Rajasthan and Telangana Assembly elections.
On Tuesday, 11th December 2018.
Live and balanced analysis from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Special radio bridge program connecting the 5 poll-bound states between 9:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m.
Tune in to FM Gold, Rajdhani Channel and National Network of All India Radio.
For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. You can also log on to our website newsonair.nic.in. President Ram Nath Kovind will embark on a 4-day visit to Myanmar from this evening. During his stay, the President will visit capital Naypyidaw and Yangon and interact with his counterpart, U Win Mint and State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. A high-level delegation is also accompanying Mr. Kovind. Our correspondent covering the President's visit has filed this report.
In the past 3 years, India's political, economic and defense ties with Myanmar have grown rapidly. Through this visit, the President will reaffirm India's commitment to developing an important partnership with Myanmar. The visit is expected to maintain the momentum generated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Myanmar in September last year and the visit of Myanmar State Councillor Daw Aung San Suu Kyi to New Delhi in January this year. During the visit, President will meet the surviving members of the Indian National Army and attend a community reception. He will also visit various development projects funded by India. Myanmar is a country where India's Act East and Neighbourhood First policies intersect. It is the only ASEAN member state that is both a land and maritime neighbour of India. It is strategically important for development of India's northeast and also a link to Southeast Asia.
The President will participate in the closing ceremony of the week-long foundation celebrations of Maharana Pratap Education Council at Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh this morning. The educational institution is run by Gorakshpeeth. Mr. Kovind, who reached the town last evening, will also offer prayers at the Gorakhnath temple before leaving for Delhi. The extradition trial of fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya has been listed for judgment hand down before the Westminster Magistrates Court in London today. The 62-year-old is wanted in India on alleged fraud and money laundering charges amounting to an estimated 9,000 crore rupees. He has been on bail since his arrest on an extradition warrant in April last year. If the ruling of Judge Emma Arbuthnot goes ahead as scheduled today, it would mark a significant point in this high-profile extradition trial that has lasted over a year. French President Emmanuel Macron will address the nation today amid ongoing protests marked by violence in the country. Mr. Macron will speak from the presidential Élysée Palace and is expected to announce concrete measures to calm the protests. The nation has seen days of demonstrations against fuel tax rises, high living costs and other issues. About 125,000 protesters took to the streets on Saturday, with more than 1,200 taken into custody. In Nepal, celebrations of Bibha Panchami, the wedding of Lord Ram and Goddess Sita, are on in the historic Janakpur city. Our correspondent reports that during the week-long celebrations, various rituals of the Ram-Sita marriage are being performed.
Viva Panchami, the bow-breaking ceremony was held at famous Barabiga ground last evening. Thousands of devotees from India and Nepal, including hundreds of sadhus, attended it. The Swamvar and marriage ceremony will be held on Wednesday. According to Hindu mythology, Lord Rama married goddess Sita, the daughter of King Janak of Janakpur, on Viva Panchami. The festival is observed every year to mark the occasion. Viva Panchami also highlights age-old social and cultural bonding between India and Nepal that has been cherished for centuries. Rajkumar, AIR News, Janakpur.
In cricket, chasing a victory target of 323, Australia were 188 for 7 against India on the final day of the Adelaide Test when reports last came in. Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc were at the crease. India just need 3 wickets to win under 135 runs. India have not won a Test in Australia since 2008 and in the Adelaide since 2003. Australia resumed play at the overnight score of 104 for 4 this morning. 2 wickets were bagged by Jasprit Bumrah while 1 was claimed by Ishant Sharma. 4 of the 8 quarter-final berths of the Men's Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar have been decided. Hosts India, 2-time defending champions Australia, Argentina and Germany have made it to the last 8 stage after topping their respective groups. The remaining 4 places will be determined through crossover matches that will be played today and tomorrow between the 2nd and 3rd place teams of each pool. Today France will clash with China at 4:45 p.m. while England will face New Zealand at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, Pakistan will be up against Belgium, with the Netherlands taking on Canada. The quarter-final matches will be played on Wednesday and Thursday, with the semi-finals slated for Saturday. The final will be played on Sunday. The India Meteorological Department has predicted rain and snowfall at isolated places in Himachal Pradesh today and tomorrow. Director MET Department in Shimla, Manmohan Singh said, rain and snowfall is likely to occur due to western disturbance. He said the western disturbance presently lies as a cyclonic circulation over East Afghanistan. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Saira Mujtaba.
Thank you, Abhishek. The Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, RSS, and Vishwa Hindu Parishad, VHP, urging the government to keep the temple promise, makes for front-page news in most of the dailies this morning. Sangh Parivar puts government on notice, seeks law on Mandir, leads the Times of India. The paper also quotes the RSS General Secretary Bhayaji Joshi as saying, not begging, it is our right. VHP RSS step up pressure on government for building temple, headlines the Asian Age. Drawing attention to the opposition leaders' efforts at forging a grand alliance to take on the BJP in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, the Statesman writes, opposition bigwigs to meet today on anti-BJP front, adding DMK leader M.K. Stalin holds talks with Sonia Rahul. On the extradition of embattled business tycoon and former Kingfisher Airlines boss Vijay Mallya, the Pioneer informs, London court to give verdict on Mallya's extradition today. The paper writes that a joint team of CBI and ED has left for the UK to attend the court proceedings. Referring to the latest on the Bulandshahr violence, Hindustan Times states, another cop removed, army man denies hand. One day before the Rajasthan Assembly election results are announced, the DNA notes, Rajasthan set for Game of Thrones finale. The expelled INLD leader and Hisar Member of Parliament, Dushyant Chautala, launching his party, Jan Nayak Janata Party or JJP, is also noticed by the dailies. Dushyant launches party at Jind, attacks both BJP and Congress for doing nothing for farmers, informs the Tribune. On the National Register of Citizens deadline in Assam drawing near, the Asian Age writes, thousands more struck off from Assam NRC list. And finally, Indian wins Mr. Supranational title. Well, the Asian Age reports that Goa's Prathmesh Molinkar has created history by becoming the first Indian to win this year's Mr. Supranational title in a competition held in Poland. With that, it's back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Saira. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government convenes all-party meeting today ahead of the winter session of Parliament beginning tomorrow. All arrangements in place for counting of votes for assembly elections in 5 states tomorrow. President Ram Nath Kovind to embark on a 4-day visit to Myanmar this evening. Extradition trial of fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya listed for judgment today in a London court. In cricket, chasing 323 to win, Australia 189 for 7 on the final day of the Adelaide Test a short while ago. And France to clash with China, while England to face New Zealand for a place in the quarterfinals of Men's Hockey World Cup. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.nic.in. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.